So, good morning to everyone, and welcome to the 5th webinar of the SEED Project Capacity Building Program. Many of you already know me, but I'm Giulia Ganuggi, a postdoc researcher in sociology at the University of Bologna, and today I will facilitate the conversation of the webinar. So as you know from the title, today we talk about social entrepreneurship, and we try to dig into its shapes, forms, and developments. We have many speakers today, and I'm very happy of this, so we have different various contributions. Before introducing them, I'd like to invite everyone to participate in the webinar, interacting with us in the chat through questions and comments, whatever you want to add or to ask to our guest. So now let's start. I will introduce the speakers before each contribution. So we open up as first with Paolo Landoni. Paolo is a professor of entrepreneurship at the Politecnico of Turin, and he's going to give us an introduction about the topic and some data about social entrepreneurship in Italy and Europe. So Paolo, the floor is yours. Thank you to be here, and I remember you have more or less 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will share my slides first of all. Let's see if it works. Okay, so I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we see them.
So I was asked to introduce briefly this topic, so social entrepreneurship and social ecosystems. I'm a professor at Politecnico di Torino University, and I'm focused on entrepreneurship and innovation. And I'm also leading two organizations that give me further insights into these topics. Social Innovation Monitor, that is a research team focusing on entrepreneurial ecosystem, and Social Innovation Teams, that is a non-profit organization helping startups with a significant social impact. So what is social entrepreneurship? I like to call them the social entrepreneur that do social entrepreneurship, the heroes. So first of all, social is here intended as social and environmental issues. So we're not talking about social media, social network, even if some authors talks about both. So social innovation as both social in terms of impact and social in terms of done by many organizations and many individuals together. But here I prefer the social impact and environmental impact. And social entrepreneurship is in general an organization that adopts business strategies to create positive social and environmental impact. So the idea is that there is an organization with a focus on not the profit side of the majority of organization, but the impact side. But it's doing this through an organization that also has sustainability characteristics in terms of revenues, so business models. And so this is an organization that introduces social innovation. And yeah, I report the best, in my opinion, definition, even if also in terms of social innovation, there are many different definitions. The one I prefer is this one that says that social innovation is a novel solution to a social problem that is more effective, efficient, sustainable, or just than existing solution, and for which the value created accrues primarily to society as a whole rather than private individuals. I hope you already are a little bit confused, because this is exactly the point I want to raise, that social entrepreneurship is still an evolving topic, that we still have many different definitions. So I provided some definition and some guidelines to understand what we are talking about. But again, there are many different perspectives. So now I will show you some number, but I want you to keep in mind that there are many different definitions. So it's very difficult to compare data, and we have helped to develop this European Social Enterprise Monitor. This year, you can see the participating country, and I will show you some data about this organization. So, which is the definition adopted in this study? The definition is: a social enterprise is an operator in the social economy whose main objective is to have a social and environmental impact rather than make a profit for their owners or shareholders. So, as you see, more or less in line with what I previously said. So, some numbers. As you can see, this is a growing phenomenon because there is, you can see a very high bar in the beginning, but it's a very long period of time. So the majority of the social enterprises are born in the last years. And they are mainly at the seed stage or startup stage. So at the beginning, as you can see here, only 15% are at the steady stage. And they are active in a number of different sectors, mainly education and human health and social work activities, but also many other sectors, as you can see here. And many are not just in one sector, but operate in more than one. They cover many different impact objectives. And I want to stop a little bit here on these slides because I think that to understand this topic, it can be very useful. So here you can see that 22.4% have only trading income, 10.5% only non-trading income, and the majority have hybrid income. What does it mean? It means that the majority of these social enterprises receives both donations and also revenues from products or services. And this points to one of the main problems we have when we talk about social enterprises. So what are we really talking about, besides all the different definitions that we can use? Well, we are talking about many different things. So it is more useful to specify what we are talking about. Here you can see that in Italy there are 15 different legal forms used by social enterprises, and also in other countries there are many different legal forms. So with legal forms we mean that it could be a non-profit organization like an association. This is a legal form, but also a foundation is another legal form. Both are non-profit. And then there is limited liability companies. This is another legal forms, etc. So there are many different ways in which you can create a social enterprise. And I think it is useful to understand that we are interested, when we talk about social entrepreneurship, in at least two different things. So let's exclude traditional organizations, so companies aiming at having a profit, even if also here we could discuss more, but let's say that there are some entrepreneurs driven only by profit. So we remain with two other categories. One is the pure non-profit organizations, and the other one is the hybrid organization. So organization that aims at combining both the impact and also some forms of profit and especially through revenues, products, and services. And this is this one in the middle is a growing category, a very interesting one. And so it can be defined by thinking about a combination of both for-profit and non-profit motives. Again, here we have many different typologies. So I just quickly talk about Italy. In Italy, we have a very straightforward definition of social enterprises. So this is a mess, because if we talk about social enterprises in general, we consider both non-profit and hybrid organization. But then in Italy, we also have a definition for social enterprises. And we also have, and these are very interesting and also present in other countries, benefit corporations, B Corps, and I don't have time to go in depth into this, but these are certification, B Corps, and legal forms, benefit corporation, that transform in a way a for-profit organization into an hybrid one. So again, we have a report in Italy about these hybrid organizations, and also in other countries this is growing in terms of number of organizations and interest for this phenomenon. And there are also, of course, non-certified organizations with a significant impact. So very quickly, given the growth of these organizations, so social entrepreneurs and their friends are trying to change the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and what we can see, because of course the entrepreneurial ecosystem is very complex. There are the entrepreneurs, but there are also many other blocks that contribute to the entrepreneurial stance of an ecosystem. But just focusing on two, finance and supporting organization, we can see that right now there are new organizations helping these hybrid organizations and these new entrepreneurial organization with a social impact. And this is sometimes called social impact investment or impact investing. And this is something new that is helping the social ecosystem to evolve. Among these organizations, we also have social or impact business angels, and these are individuals that help profit organization with a social impact to evolve. As I was saying, there are also other organizations that are helping. For instance, national network, accelerators and incubators, and also knowledge center, knowledge platform. So this is again data for the whole Europe. And finally, I want just to add that there are also false heroes and false friends, and this is due to the fact that we have a very complex ecosystem and very complex definitions, and so it's not easy anymore to understand whether or not an organization has a significant social or environmental impact, and also in terms of non-profit organizations, sometimes the motives are not so pure. And also in terms of hybrid organization, we have to pay attention, and especially, of course, pure for-profit organization. They are investing in ESG and impact evaluation and sustainability report, but there is also a lot of greenwashing and social work. And similarly, so there are some false heroes, but there are also false friends, and some of them are incubators that, again, say that they are trying to help social entrepreneur, or impact investors that say that they want to help social entrepreneurs, but in the end, it's just, or their focus is not so much on the impact, but mainly on organization that can also have a profit, as we have said, because they are hybrid and are interesting and can have a lot of traction. So I've been very quick because I only had 10 minutes for this introduction, but I hope I conveyed at least the complexity and some touch points if you want to dig deeper into these complex ecosystems and complex phenomena. And the following speakers will talk about some specific specific entrepreneur and some specific initiatives. So only going in depth, I think we can understand more on these complex topics in this phase. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Paolo. And I remember to all of you to ask questions or comments if you are keen to know something more, some details more about what Paolo presented us. So I move forward, and since Paolo mentioned actors helping social entrepreneurship to develop, we have today the possibility to hear the experience of two speakers who are working tightly related with social entrepreneurship. And the first is Cristian Mancinone. He's a social innovation expert at ARTER, that is the Emilia-Romagna Joint Stock Consortium. Maybe he will tell something more about his activity and this organization. And after Cristian, we have Chiara Davalli. Chiara is a senior project leader at EBN, that is the European Business and Innovation Center Network, and she's also coordinator of the Better Incubation project. So they will focus on the role of this public actor, ARTER, working with territorial stakeholders, among which indeed the social entrepreneurships. And Chiara instead will focus on the policy recommendations realized by Better Incubation and endorsed by the DG Employment. So thank you, Cristian and Chiara, to be here. The floor is yours.
So I will start before Chiara because we decided to do so in order to have a conversation first on the regional side and then on the more European side regarding this ecosystem support. I hope to be able to share my slides, but if not, it's not a problem. I will just tell you what we are doing in Regione Emilia-Romagna for what regards the support to social entrepreneurs, social enterprises, and the overall social innovation ecosystem. We, as ARTER, are a regional in-house consultancy, meaning we are a company owned by the regional government, and we support them in making policies and other things. So I've seen that I'm not able to share the slides because I have some issues here, but not a problem. The slides were just to show you some concepts. So what
if you want, I can do it for you, Cristian, if you prefer.
So if you can, Julia,
yeah,
thanks,
sure.
Because I'm facing some issues and it seems I'm not able to share here, but for my computer issues. So basically, what we've been doing so far in the last, I will say, 10 years is designing programs and projects together with other European stakeholders to define which could be a social innovation ecosystem in our regional environment. And that meant involving third sector organizations, supporting organization, incubators, enterprises and big companies, and in the last years, even benefit corporation in understanding what is the need. Yeah, okay, you can go to the second slide. So this image is just to show you what we are. We are an orchestrator of relation. We are an orchestrator of different kind of ecosystems, and so our job, next slide please, is to coordinate different network as the clusters, platform for crowdfunding, the INER, which is an incubator network in our region. We have a network of 10 different open innovation labs, which are connected to the regional, to the local municipalities. So we coordinate these different ecosystems. Next, please. So we started to understand how to establish this social innovation ecosystem in our region, and still we are working on that by understanding how we can face this new challenge-based approach. So we took part as a territorial partner in this project, which was an Horizon 2020 project managed by EBN and Impact Hub and Meta Group. And we had the opportunity to fund 8 different social innovators in our regions, responding to 5 different challenges that we selected together with our territorial stakeholders. That was a way to understand which could be a challenge-based approach to social innovation ecosystem development in our region, and to define which could be some challenges. Next, we did was to take part of this European social economy regions network, which is a network of regions and cities that has been developed by the DG Grow and DG Regio at European level. And within that, we had a fruitful exchange of conversation and a dialogue with other regions and cities investing in social economy and in social innovation. That was one of the network establishing the new European Social Economy Action Plan, for example. Next, please. The other things that we did was to take part to this platform, this smart specializations platform on social economy, which is led by the region of Navarra, which is one of the most advanced programs in terms of social innovation support throughout the region. And through that, we developed an investment project with an investment size of more than 6 million euro on establishing a European business school on social economy. This is still ongoing. The first round of the project was not funded, but we are just keeping other opportunities open to fund this project. So all those things, and surely the Social Economy Action Plan helped us in framing and in shaping the regional policies regarding social innovation. Next one. Maybe next 2. Okay, so this is the framework in which we have developed our regional strategy for the next 2021-2027 programming period. And the next slide will show you what we've been doing within the smart specialization strategy, which is the main strategy governing the regional programs. As you can see, we have included social innovation and social participation and inclusion and social cohesion within that strategy as transversal topics that can be included in any of the industrial sectors, which are the main industrial sector in our region. You can see the industrial sector on the left. The work we're doing is just to connect all these different actors, establishing a program and a plan for developing social innovation and social entrepreneurship in our region through a regional fund. And we have, there is one last slide, I think. Yeah, we have more than, we can say 27,000 non-profit entities, which are worth more than 2.2 billion in terms of income at regional level. Out of these, some 900, those data are 2016, 2007, but by now more than 900 are social cooperatives, and we have between them social enterprises. As Paolo said, we have too many different forms. I think we have some 200 mixed benefit corporation, B Corp, so benefit societies, and so we're still gathering data because it's not so easy. But what we did is just to give them an opportunity to have an ecosystem behind them to support them in growing and in internationalizing. So we have kind of 9 million euro within the ERDF and ESF programming to support social innovation. And within other programs, we are supporting digitalization, greening of social economy entities and social enterprises through different regional programs. I think I finished my 5 minutes, so I pass the floor to Chiara Davalli for the next visions.
Thank you, Christian. So let me share my screen as well, so that I also follow a canvas. You will see I'm really in love with this topic, so please wave if you see me going a bit beyond the allocated time. So my name is Chiara Davalli, and I'm Senior Project Leader at EBN, European Business Innovation Center Network, and I've coordinated the Better Incubation program. 2 years EU-funded project dedicated to really helping and offering mainstream business support organizations opportunities to really expand their outreach to social and inclusive entrepreneurship. EBN was coordinating the action, but together with us were other two networks, Impact Hub and EVPA. We worked really hand in hand to come up with what we are going to see in a while. So let's say that as background, as a key sentence to understand the way we operated, is this sentence by the head of unit for social and inclusive entrepreneurship at DG Employment, Ms. Brigitte Fellahi-Brugnot. All Europeans who want to set up their own business, whatever their profile, should receive active support. This is in essence the message underpinning the Better Incubation project funded by the European Commission. So over the last 2 years, so the project just ended in December. Over the last 2 years, we have been working towards an ecosystemic change, bringing incubation and business support services closer to the whole society. So this by promoting entrepreneurship and self-employment as means to create jobs, develop skills, and give unemployed and vulnerable people an opportunity to fully participate in society and the economy. So the focus of the program was both social entrepreneurship and inclusive entrepreneurship support. We did so by working along 4 key main areas of intervention: capacity building for mainstream business support organizations, cultural paradigm shift, so a lot of work on the policy element and ecosystemic dimension, impact assessment framework for inclusive incubation programs, and the definition of new alliances. I won't go through all these figures, but in this slide you find key outputs which are in a way telling what we have been doing. Let me focus in particular on this circle here, the 5 communities of practice, which were the core, I would say, the engine behind the World Better Incubation program. You will hear in a while from Inkubator Sežana, Dorian Marsic, the direct experience of a business support organization who participated in this action. So basically, we created 5 heterogeneous groups of beneficiaries, business support organizations, investors, social actors who worked for 1 year on how indeed best support and promote entrepreneurship among the so-called underrepresented groups. And we mainly focused on these 5 groups: women, youth, people with disabilities, migrants and refugees, and seniors. We researched about the topics. We tested incubation practices in 21 programs running 14 countries, and that involved more than 130 entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs. And then we entered the so-called thinking lab phase, where we really elaborated some conclusions and reflections on the learnings. So here are the main learnings. I'm going to present them through, let's say, along 6 key issues we identified. And they refer, I would say, to 3 levels of intervention. The programmatic level, so really looking at how to run and design inclusive incubation programs. The organization level, so the focus is really on incubation methodologies and programs and practices. The organizational level, looking at organizational level, so strategies for incubators, willing to be more inclusive, impact-oriented and driven. And then the ecosystemic level, you heard Christian, so incubators, especially EU BICs, are really embedded in the wider regional, local, national, sometimes entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem. So they act as catalysts and brokers among the different actors that are part of this ecosystem. I go through these recommendations very quickly. More details are in all these publications that are available on the website of Better Incubation. So the first issue, it's about fostering an inclusive entrepreneurial culture. So every time you will see 2 boxes, one, let's say, addressing more the policy makers and therefore policy actions that are needed in order to meet these issues. And in the other box, you find some highlights on how business support organizations can contribute to meet this issue. I will focus on the BSO's side, and of course, I'm happy to give you more details. So when it comes to the inclusive entrepreneurial culture, I would say that indeed it's a lot about breaking cultural and language barriers and bias. And this is mainly possible by choosing, adopting, developing the right strategies, tools, channels, skills, and networks to talk about entrepreneurship. Technology incubators can become an entry point, indeed, for technology-based firms with growth potentials established by underrepresented groups. And of course, they can, encourage business models that use technology to meet today's societal and environmental challenges. And BSOs indeed can act as, as Kickstarter of this change, cultural change in the ecosystem by training and engaging different actors, social actors, education stakeholders, and policymakers in the promotion and the stimulation of social and innovative entrepreneurship in society. I would say it's 2 directions. So on one side, bringing the traditional or mainstream entrepreneurial culture closer to indeed the values of social innovation, inclusive entrepreneurship. On the other side, it's to really promote entrepreneurship as an option for the vulnerable people. The second issue.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the time is running. So if you could come, to the conclusion,
yes,
like 1-2 minutes.
The second issue, it's about skills, and here you will see there's not the need to reinvent the wheel, but it's really about making sure that so we really design with and for the final beneficiaries, and it's more the how the services are delivered rather than which services are delivered. Access to finance, Paolo Landoni before mentioned this, it's definitely an area of intervention that should be looked into it, and understanding impact investment is important, and therefore mainstream business support organizations can play a role in this, bridging investors with indeed investees. Impact, the culture of tracking, collecting data is really relevant. not just for the sake of, performance tracking, but also then with this data, with this information, being able to shape more inclusive and impact-driven policies and programs. Accessibility, being open is not enough. It's really a matter of thinking on how to making our services, infrastructures, ecosystems really accessible to all. It's not just about disabilities, people, talk for people with disabilities, but for everybody. And then the last, it's about the networks. So it's really important to foster networks in order to have these ecosystems coming all together and allow for this cultural change. In 3 words, it's about human-centric approach. So really, business support organizations must be ready to go beyond the usual entrepreneurial needs of underrepresented people entering their premises and their programs. The orchestra, Christian also mentioned this, and also Paolo mentioned the word complexity. So inclusive incubation and also impact-driven incubation, it's a lot about managing and supporting this complexity. And it's a journey. It's really about taking a step by step, this journey into developing more inclusive and impact-driven incubators, but also ecosystems. You have to start somewhere and take a very, I would say, a feasible step, define an impact management and measurement framework, and follow it in order to have really long-lasting changes. We captured all this in the policy recommendations document, and we just released a technical note, the Untapped Innovation Potential technical note, which is summarizing all this in a booklet and in the words of practitioners and experts. And that's it. Sorry again.
Thank you, Chiara, and sorry for making you rush. In the meantime, we received some questions and comments in the chat, one specifically for Paolo, one for Chiara. So if I would like to go on to give the possibility to the other 5 speakers to present their cases, and also because it will be really interesting to go hands-on on the topic. So if you want to reply through the chat, please feel free. Otherwise, we will try to have some minutes at the end for more questions and replies. So now I introduced you the last 5 speakers who will tell us about different cases of social entrepreneurship, as I said. So the first one is Deborah Greco. She's member of the Office of Projects and Research at Fondazione Giacomo Brodolini. Then we have Dorian Marsic. I hope I pronounce in the good way the name. He's the director of the Inkubator Sežana, previous director of University Incubator of Primorska, with more than 30 years of managing experience in a variety of organizations, and I'm sure it will come up all his experience. Then we have Zoe McDonough, International Project Officer at Fondazione CRT, Federica Sassone, HR and Organization Manager di Alba Robot, and Piero Brunot, referent for Fa la cosa giusta network. So I will give them the floor in this order, and I'll ask all of you to stay around 8-9 minutes each, so we'll still have some time for questions. Thank you. Deborah, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Giulia, and thanks, Paola. I try to share. Sorry. Okay, Mir, can you see right? Okay.
Yeah, yes, we see.
Just a second. I work in Fondazione Giacomo Brodolini, is an international think tank, and specifically I work in innovation area. So that means we work with the municipality needs, municipality strategy and vision. And I want to talk to you today about Fabric. Fabric is the first social innovation incubator in Italy, and it was based in Milan. I mean, I talk about more or less 10 years ago. the vision, the strategy about Fabric was born in 2013, so finished 2 years ago. It was a big and the first experimentation and experiment on the public policies and the social impact in a specific area of the city. In Milan, we talk about Quarto Giaro. Quarto Giaro is a really peripheral and neighborhood area with a lot of problems, social, economic problem, and Fabric was based there in the specific area because he had a specific vision, mission, and target. I mean, actually, I think Fabric had a double mission with a double vision, because from one side, Fabric supported prospective entrepreneurship, social, and startup with a social impact. And the other side, the major object, the major goal, it was to try to regenerate an ecosystem with a important change from the social and economic innovation in this part of the city. It was managed from Fondazione Giacomo Brodolini and Impact Hub, but the initiative was promoted by the Assessorato alle Politiche del Lavoro from the Municipality of Milan. We work with two special sectors. One, incubation and entrepreneurship, and another one is the development and regeneration from the ecosystem. About the incubation, we changed during our long life, the 10 years, the activity. In the first part of our manager, we start to support the born and development of the startup with a social impact. I mean, they work in a specific sector like education, welfare, or support to help people, or regeneration urban space. And we manage 4 different programs. Each year we have one vertical batch, and each startup received funding from the municipality or a private social venture or venture capitalist. This is for the first part. If I remember correctly, it for the 3 for first year of our concession and managed, and start from 2019, change the vision of the municipality, the political and the public vision from the city, and we change our activity on the Milan and our activity with the incubator, and we start to Fabric Quarto. Fabric Quarto, it was a new model of incubator on the ground, on the sea. It focused on the north of Milan in 5 different peripheral and suburb area like Quarto Giaro, Comasina, and so on. And the focus is totally different. I mean, in the first case, we support startup with a social impact. So it's a legal entity with a right and register with a social. They have to demonstrate to the municipality and the public investor their impact on the city in general. In the second case, with this Innovazione di Quartiere and Fabric Quarto, we talked about a program with no specific legal entity, so it's not necessarily work about a social enterprise, but they have the mission to develop and regenerate local economy and support the next shop on the local commerce. And this is one of the first in Europe experiment about the investment and funding from public and private, and the program they have to have a social issue response, the social issue solution. And the other important aspect of the fabric during the 10 year, it was the developing the ecosystem. We try to find a different aspect and a different task like job and training for the territory. Like, I mean, we support the development of the entrepreneurship and social impact culture on the peripheral area with the school and the actor on the territory, like some association. And we try to find political a new task on manufacturing and 4.0 technology, like a digital transformation, to try to make closer the people, the young people, with the new technology, and the different partnership on the some association on the Quarto Giaro. And this is, for example, is one of the project we manage with a specific target. It was women, second generation migrant and refugees, and they work on the city on a specific, and they try to find to create a new social enterprise or a startup with a social impact with a new technology or a new solution based on specific needs they emerged from the city and the quarter. I think this is a short presentation on fabric.
Thank you, Chiara. No, Chiara, Deborah, sorry. With all these names, I got confused.
Don't worry.
Thank you, thank you, Deborah. And if you have questions for Deborah, just please drop them in the chat and we will address them at the end. And now, Dorian, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Julia, and thank you for this opportunity for presenting our case. I will try to share my presentation, if it will be possible.
If you need help, let me know, or if you have struggles, I can share them for you.
I hope it will be. Okay.
Yes, we see them.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, but it's not the right one, I'm sorry. Can you please go, because I sent you the copy?
Yeah, sure. Here they are. Dorian, do you see them? Dorian, I cannot hear you. Your mic is off.
Yeah, okay, the internet fell down, yes. Okay, yeah. Well, I will try to be very quick. So the story goes like this. In our incubator, which is actually a generalistic one, so we haven't had the experience of working with inclusive and social entrepreneurship previous to that, we've decided as a part of our policy of, let's say, social responsibility to develop one program, inclusive program for a specific group of people. And a little bit investigating around, we saw that for people with hearing disabilities, so with hearing loss and hard of hearing, there has been no programs at all, especially not in Slovenia, but Googling and let's say also asking our friends from EBN, we realized that actually there are no comprehensive programs for these people with this kind of disabilities. So what we did, it was like this. We decided to prepare a program. We filmed a video with subtitles. and sign language, and we published it, and then we had the result that it was actually 0 participants or 0 applications. But at the same time, we have actually joined the Better Incubation program, and me and my colleague Maja Crgol-Lipnik, who was actually as well a part of this team, an important part of this team developing the program. We've entered the EVPA Social Impact Measurement and Management training course. And we saw that actually we did the basic mistake. We didn't know our customer. So what we did, you can go ahead, please, with the, yeah. So what we actually realized it is that, first of all, you have to see the numbers. What is the problem? What is the extension of the problem? A little bit investigating and researching, we saw that there is a lot of people actually with this kind of disability, and in the future you can go ahead. There is also a increasing number of people that will have this problem in the future. It's terrifying as the statistic is showing. In Slovenia, there has been no statistics about how many people is with this problem, with this disability. We estimate that this is something around 1,500 people, and among them there is even no information about what is the ratio of employment, unemployment, and what are the wishes of becoming an entrepreneur. So go ahead. Yeah, so if the problem would not be addressed, then of course you have a problem with this community. So especially because there is a communication and speech problem, also the cognition problem, and also education and employment itself. So that's why we've decided in our vision to create an educational program for people with hearing loss, with the objective actually to empower the main stakeholders, not just the participants. So as association, entrepreneurial ecosystem, chamber of commerce and employment agency, etc., and also individuals for gaining this entrepreneurial skills and to, let's say, start their own initiatives. Go ahead. So first of all, of course, we've designed the business school, and we had 3 phases in our mind. First, that they would design their own products. The second, to teach them the lean business modeling and startup skills, and the third, to be incubated and further on followed by our incubator. Go ahead. The tools, of course, we used, it was first of all the IMM from EVPA with 5 steps for our planning. Then we've organized an orientation webinar for all stakeholders, especially for the participants, workshops and seminars, mentorship, coaching, lean canvas, and of course the incubation at the end. Go ahead. For whom it was dedicated, so it's, let's say, not to enter into specific, but it was for those that actually don't hear at all, so that they use only sign language, but also for hard of hearing. So that means that, of course, they have kind of apparatus that help them to hear a little bit. Go ahead. So this is the program that was run in April last year. Go ahead. As I said, we've used this 5-step impact management process. Go ahead. First of all, setting the objective. We did that in all the topics. The stakeholders identification, then setting our objectives. Go ahead. Go quickly. Yeah. We've analyzed everything. So we put our KPIs that we would like to, we wanted to follow. The 4th step, of course, it was then to prepare all the plan work with all the activities, the inputs, and of course the impact at the end. Go ahead. Of course, it was more complicated than this. Okay, go ahead. Our action plan, and then of course the program. It was 3 days program with creative workshop the first day when they build their own idea and plastically they build it. Then the workshop with giving them the business skills, and on the third day they prepare their own business canvas and actually executed also a pitching in front of a commission. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. This is a video that we've had as a presentation to the stakeholders, where we actually gained the knowledge about this group of people. What are the programs? What are their fears? And of course, at the end, with the questionnaire, we've got also the information what they actually wanted. Go ahead. The invitation with video was also, of course, needed with the sign language. And here we've got 11 participants. It was all kind of business ideas, from sports to art to digital skills, etc. Go ahead. The communication tools we used, of course, it was sign language. It was special device designed by the Faculty of Engineering of University of Ljubljana, which actually used artificial intelligence to translate the language into the into the writing, and also, of course, it was used the loop that actually provides signal to the hearing apparatus. Go ahead. So this is some pictures that you can see what they did the first day. Go ahead. Here, and this is, I think, go ahead. And this, if you can play the video, it would be really nice to see how it went. Well, saying that, I will speak. So we can go ahead. So this is the last slide. Some lessons learned and takeaways for anybody who would like to actually duplicate this kind of business school. First of all is the language. The startup language, we had to invent new words, and it was some of them that have been invented on the spot. Then it's very good to, let's say, have an integrated workshop with the relatives that actually are hearing people, so they hear normally, or this is partners, siblings, or friends. The duration of the workshop, it must not be very extended, because it's very difficult for them, especially for those with the apparatuses, and also for interpreters, to have let's say, a long, many hours of training or a workshop. Individual work, of course, is needed. It's a specific approach. Let me see. I'm now mentoring two that went to the school, and actually, I need two interpreters, because the language of the sign language is not the same all over Slovenia, and they do not understand each other. So I have now two interpreters of sign language for mentoring those two guys. The environmental noise, of course, is also very important. You have to take care about this. You have to train the lecturers, to train the trainers. And of course, the costs and the budgets are higher than the normal workshop you would do for normal population. And then, of course, you have to measure the impact, which is of course very important to see what were the results of your work. go ahead. I think I'm at the end. So this is it. That was the last picture that we took. Of course, the sign is not meaning double, but it means I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoran. Great presentation and useful insights, I think, also on the lessons learned. So now it's the turn of Zoe and Federica. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Let me just share my screen here. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zoe McDonough. I work at CRT Foundation. We're a foundation based in the northwest of Italy here in Turin. And while predominantly we do work in the local area between Piedmont and Val d'Aosta, so the northwest, we do have a very strong international vision as well for the work that we do, which brings me to Impact Deal, the data-driven training and acceleration program for impact enterprises that we have carried out last year. Impact Deal is an evolution, I like to think, of about 10 years now that CRT Foundation has been working in the field of social entrepreneurship. It started with a program similar to Impact Deal, where we trained social entrepreneurs from the Euro-Mediterranean area. So we trained about 100 entrepreneurs in all, and they came from all of the countries facing onto the Mediterranean Sea. They come to Turin. We'd have an intensive week, very intensive week of training where we took them from wherever they were in their journey, be it the idea stage, beginning to scale, or really get into the nitty-gritty of their business plans. And we would work on the professional, the figure of the social entrepreneur, as well as their enterprise. After we concluded our 5th edition of the project, we took a break and we reflected on what else we could put into the ecosystem and see how we could develop it further. Welcome to the table, Impact Deal. Impact Deal is something that we have from the beginning focused on a very strong collaboration with the team as well, as you can see here. It's a project of the foundation with OGR, which is the innovation hub that we created here in Turin, where at the moment we have about another 14 different acceleration programs ongoing. Our key partner has been Microsoft throughout the project. Our operational partner, with whom I don't think we would do without, is Topics, and they're also connected to the call today. We worked alongside Easy Foundation, which are a research center focused on complexity science and data science, and also with our impact partners, Ashoka, Impact Deal, and the Data Peel Company. Now, as I mentioned, the mission of Impact Deal was to act as a deal between heterogeneous subjects for the generation of positive, measurable societal and environmental impact, following also the metrics of the SDGs. Now, the idea is that within all of these corporations and organizations, there's a lot of data that nothing's been done with. And when it comes to social entrepreneurship, any extra information, insight on the activity, the social problem that they're trying to deal with and make a difference with, the more information, the more insights, the better. So we wanted to put those two worlds together. And this is why we created this program, Impact Deal. And the idea is to challenge the traditional enterprises as well, to get them to think outside of the box as to how else they can increase their impact. So I will be very quick here, but I'm not sure if Julia will share the slides afterwards. If you have any questions in the chat, if not, we can connect afterwards. So we started with a call for enterprises all across Europe. This first edition last year, we had 40 applications. They came from 8 different countries, the UK, Italy, Portugal, Switzerland, Cyprus, Denmark, Luxembourg, and Ireland. And we covered about 50% of all of the SDGs in total. The selected 12 entrepreneurs and their impact enterprises, they came to Turin and they followed us on the 5-month program. They had 2 boot camps in presence, and the rest of it was dealt with online as well. And throughout the process, they were taught how to deal with the data, how to affront it, and lots of different aspects around their impact enterprises. An element that is fundamental for us was the creation of a data club. Now, these were the 4 subjects who put data sets on the table for our impact entrepreneurs to actually deal with and to have access to. And we're very proud of this because we managed to get a public authority, a finance corporate, which is Sella, one of the leading banks in Italy, ZAM Foundation, they're in the energy field, but work with welfare as well, and TIM, which is one of the leading telcos. It's the main telco here in Italy. Now, what happened was this is just a brief timeline, which I can probably skip. And over the 5 months in December, we then had a final demo day where the impact entrepreneurs made a pitch to a group of a few investors and the entire team that worked throughout. Here is just a quick look at the entrepreneurs, and I will now pass the word just shortly over to Federica. Here you can see Alba Robot. Federica is the HR operations officer there, and we covered a range of different subjects. So I won't steal any more time from Federica. If you'd like to reach out and contact us about any of these or have a little chat about our project, we want to help. Thank you very much. Federica, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much, Zoe. I will just share my presentation. Okay, so I'm very happy to be here as an example of social impact company. I'm part of Alba Robot. We are a startup based in Turin, in Italy. We started from a problem. So we have to face the aging of population, and in these recent years, the shortage of personnel that are causing very big disruptions in the management of facilities that are requiring now a lot of automation and digitalization. You can think about the great disruption we had this summer, the last summer, in airports or in a hospital due also to the pandemic crisis. So our solution to this problem is a B2B autonomous mobilities as a service with a premium design and high quality to move people in indoor and pedestrian areas. You can see here an example of one of our vehicles. This vehicle was designed with Ital Design, design company based in Turin, for airports in particular. So our unique selling proposition is made of three things. The first is a mobility platform able to manage different fleets of vehicles, can be autonomous driving vehicles like ours, but also to track at least traditional manual vehicles. The second one is the indoor and pedestrian robotaxi, or let's call it people mover, in order to share the transport service within facilities. And the third one is a WPS, which is a little device allowing us to localize and track existing vehicles within facilities. Here in the picture, you can see the case, the pilot we are making in Turin Airport. So having in mind this kind of product and services we have a serious focus on ESG aspects. On the environmental aspects, we are dealing with electrical vehicles and sustainable materials, governance, of course, in terms of our internal procedures, but the most relevant for us is the social impact, because we want to improve people independence and quality of life. In this sense, just to focus on this, we are targeting our product and services to support people with reduced mobility to become more independent in their movements within facilities, so indoor. But at the same time, we provide facilities like hospitals, museums, airports, some autonomous solutions for mobility services, and this will help reducing human effort on wearing tasks, like pushing manual wheelchairs. We are speaking about passengers with reduced mobilities and not direct to speaking of disabilities. Passengers with reduced mobilities can be elderly, can be people that for a while cannot walk or cannot walk for a long distance. And we know that in facilities that can be very big, a lot of people cannot move independently and require some supports. Our social impact is very important for us, and it's very connected with the purpose of the company itself. I will go really quickly to our participation to the Impact Deal Accelerator last year. Impact Deal was a big challenge and opportunity for us. The added value for our company
was a high-level training on data science. We involved a plus of this accelerator is that it has a very technical and focus on training, and also support on the most let's say high-level and strategic approach. So on one side we had a focused training on data science, but we also had many mentoring sessions speaking about our business plan, our strategy with trained and experienced people and mentors. We have been able to build connections with other impact companies, some of which are located in Turin as us. So it has been really a pleasure to meet and to make connection with other realities. And also the visibility versus potential investors and partners, because we had the possibility at the end of the program to pitch our reality in front of potential investors, and also to meet them in person in order to discuss even better our solution and our reality. So at the end of this, just to summarize, at the end of this really interesting accelerator and really focused accelerator, we realized that social impact has to be connected with the scientific methodology and technology in order, like Zoe was mentioning before, in order to use a data-driven approach, data innovation, to reach even better results for a greater social impact. So this is it. I'm available for any question, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Federica and Zoe, before. So it's time of our last speaker, Piero. Today with name, it's a cows. Piero, if you are there, I wait to see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. I share your screen. I share your slides.
Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. I start introducing ourselves. We are a part of local network related to the Do the Right Things Fair, Fiera Fa la Cosa Giusta. That is a space that I'm already 15, 20 years old, and working and try to promoting unstructured spaces to facilitate exchanges between enterprise, and on the other side try to connect them as untraditional actor on educational process. I will just present very quickly an experience that we had related to a network that it's called Si Parte dal Bosco, that it's very biodiverse network that is growing around the idea of the forest as a common good. So we are talking about rural reality, so we have a kind of different approach that it's not really the urban one. So we have a few people and quite a big difficulty to accelerate process. What we did, it's a kind of process that we did with the School of Civil Economy and Assoreti, that are two of the sponsors with who we have worked on this. And we have a very heterogeneous group of actors and local entrepreneurs that already have a kind of a relationship on the field in which we are working, and try to focus it in new actors. And I really find that at the introduction, what Landoni said on impact and organizational model are mainly the two main difficulties that we focused. We took 6 years more or less to complete the process. So it's quite difficult to talk about accelerator more than everything. I think we follow the process and we try to focus on a specific local solution to orient an economical actor to social impact approach on the field. One of the main issues that we have to focus is somehow the research of the organizational model. Why? Because there are, I mean, 20, maybe 30 different alternatives, and there is not such a deep study and understanding about the different opportunity that normally they give. And we are very clear that there is a deep connection between the organizational model that you use to do social innovation and what you really arrive to generate as an impact on the field. For this, at the end, we decide to choose Contratto di Retocetto, that it's a new organizational opportunity, that it's somehow not so structured like the historical one. It's not an association, it's not a foundation, it's something mixed. Related to that, another added value that we think that we crossed during our path was the opportunity to work with the idea of the network and not such as individual economical actors. This made for sure the process longer, but at the same time, they gave us a very, very deep connection with the field. At the same time, focused on the idea of organizational model, there is that they are a kind of form, but at the same time, they give opportunity and strategical opportunity. In the issue that we were talking before, the idea of codatoriality that is introduced by this kind of models open a completely different idea of the work inside of the network. Okay, on the so what the result of this? It's one of the first contratto di rete benefit in Italy, and we try now to focus a little bit how this can be just a starting point. It's not our final dress, but we take it as a transitional process, this box that we are using to have an formal identity to work in our community. Related to the impact is the other main issue. I mean, it's very, very easy when you are really focusing on a product, on a subject, for a reality like this one, in which the idea somehow is to work on the biodiversity and on the protection of the common good as the forest. It's raising at the same time the importance of being political actors. Just for that, it will be impossible that you arrive to scale up your experience. That it's somehow the idea that in the urban area you try to focus. So the idea is that your social impact is really related as well to the political identity that you take in the field and in the area in which you are working. For this, what we expect is that a kind of change in governance in which public administration somehow will enter with a role of network activators, just because the way and of demography that is defining somehow the future of our community is suggesting that we need a new equilibrium between social and political actors, and so economical actors will be more and more important. That will try to focus on the political responsibility and the social impact that they will do. The other thing is the importance of language. I mean, it's very difficult. It happens always, And so the need of developing our own languages related to the impact. We are talking about, and we heard talking about false friend and false process. And I think to recover our languages, it's very, very important. And it was hard work for us because we started with a starting document of more than 40 pages. I mean, somehow we put every kind of possible dynamics and impact that we focus on the territory. And at the same time, we need to focus and we think that we will be a process that will take time on that direction. At the same time, I think the last things, it's a little bit the perspective. Another thing that helped us a lot and focusing as an old enterprise, because mainly our enterprise that are 20, 25 years, so that have been
okay, I think he
social impact model. Yeah, it's
I
the
think...
idea. Just 1 minute, I finish.
Yeah.
It's the idea of to have a kind of future vision. So what really helped to us as well, it's the opportunity to focus on future scenarios related to the idea that of the role that we will play as a social actor, a social impact actor in the area. That helped us a lot related to that. And last, underlining related to the organizational model, there are a lot of new models coming up on the reality. For example, on the new forestry strategy, there is the idea of accordi di foresta, and somehow everyone is given good opportunity to rechange it. The problem is that we don't have enough time to transform ourselves and to try to find the better dress to be social impact actor in the area. The last things I think it's that for us it's very, very important is the dimension of the network, and so try this obligation somehow to refocus on the activity that is starting from the business model that you are driving for the activity that you want to develop on the field. And this is for sure sometimes difficult, but it's very useful to maintain this idea that is not on best practice exchange, but more on activating conditions that can keep an economical actor as a generative space and opportunity for the actors that are working in. Okay, I think I will really like to take the time also to share with the other, and I have some question for the other, so I leave the last minutes for that opportunity for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Piero. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you before, but you were frozen for a while, so I was trying to understand if you were coming back or what. But we lost really few seconds, so don't worry. The speech was full. So I understood you have some question. I will come to you in a second. I will open up the floor actually, or the chat for the participants if you have questions or comments. I see that, Dimitris, you didn't have the chance to write your questions in the chat for Paolo, so if you want to open up your mic and talk to us, we are very happy. Otherwise, you can write whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I have been writing down some notices because I found many points that all have been describing in the last minutes. I wanted to ask something more methodological about the approach on the clustering for Paolo. And it's, let's say, a two-part question. The first part has to do with the stages that we saw in a pie, for example, the early stage, etc., etc. If you in Italy all have any joint framework for time references upon these maturity levels of the startups. For example, in Greece, for example, we had parallel stages or time references on that, and now we are working towards creating a joint and acceptable pattern for the time reference of the stages of the maturity of the startups. This is the first question. And in the second, we see some new and somehow radical, while being reformative initiatives on social innovation. For example, I mean, we see approaches of steward partnership, of golden sharing, of public limited companies of the public sector with social direction without being clearly for-profit essays, spin-offs, social spin-offs of the labs of the universities, etc. These types of hybrid, or let's say more mingled, mixed characteristics are, I think, clustered in the category hybrid, or no? And the second question has to do with the greenwashing that Paolo said, that it's very correct, and I think we see it happen in many countries. And the question here is if there is any attempt, if somebody of us here participating knows any directive on the greenwashing or any indicators for framing this greenwashing that we all could use. These are the two main parts of the questions, not to take all your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitris. Okay, Paolo.
So first of all, thank you very much for the very interesting question. I think we don't have time to go in depth into all of them, also because we plan to finish at 2, and it's exactly 2 right now. But very quickly, and then if you want, we can discuss this further in the future. The stages are not. There are no standards for the stages of development of organizations. One of the references I like is to consider a seed stage before founding the organization. So let's say at the project level, before going to the notary, before establishing. And then there is a startup phase and a growth phase. But again, there are no standards, so I cannot help with that. Second, I think it is a really interesting phase we are living right now in terms of hybrid organization. So you have mentioned some new developments. That's great. I think they are hybrid, but I cannot be sure. Maybe they are just non-profit or for profit. You have to go into details. This is something I tried to convey in my presentation. We can of course talk a little bit in general, but it's very useful. It's better also to go into the details, to look into the specific organization. And finally, greenwashing, social washing. Again, it's an increasing phenomenon, and we are still working on defining and finding countermeasures. But they have a taxonomy of greenwashing, and I will share it with you if you send me an email in the coming days or hours, given that now we are too close. But again, we are doing research on this right now. Not me, not just me, but in general, it's a research topic, highly debatable and debated, and things are evolving right now, and so there are not yet standards or things that I can say this is how you should frame greenwashing or social washing. I hope this has helped.
Yeah, the ground for a later discussion. Thank you.
Thank you both. And I see we have a hands raised. So Mihai, please.
Thank you for the opportunity of being here with you and being able to share some points of view related to the presentation. Well, speaking of the percentage of social enterprises involved in commercial activities, I thought that it was very encouraging seeing the large number of organizations developing such activities, but I would say again that this depends on what we consider as being a social enterprise. And there are countries where this is a legal entity, where there are some countries where this is just a label, which is then applied to other form of organizations. And in this respect, the statistics would show that association and foundation would be the largest, at least for the case of Romania, the largest number of social economy organizations. And according to statistics, a very, very small percentage of such organizations do get involved in commercial activities. So coming back to my previous point, it's very important to decide which is the perspective we are using. It's either a legal one or a management one or economy one. And then we can decide more about the figures which are reported. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. If someone wants to reply, but I saw that Paolo before answered also by chat. Are there any other questions or comments from the speakers who want to add something? I know Piero maybe has some questions, so if Piero, if you want to take advantage of these last minutes, I can see.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think the question was about future scenario on social impact enterprise. If the idea is that they will be growing through a kind of identification of specific organizational model. So the idea will be, okay, to be a social impact enterprise will be, the best model will be this one, or regulation and more control on impact evaluation of the same actors, because are kind of the two main drive that we are talking about during the morning. So I would like to have a feedback on this kind of idea. You think that it's more necessary to work on the organizational models that can somehow help the growing of the field, or it's more important to focus on a kind of control unit on who is saying that is doing and giving a social impact to the community, to the local community.
I don't have an answer, of course, so I leave the floor if someone wants to reply to Piero. Actually, Piero, you were frozen again for, I see a hand. Lucian Sorescu. No, sorry, he was trying to enter. No, okay, so Piero, you were frozen again for a few seconds, so I'm not sure that everyone understood your question.
Okay, it was just as a strategy, you think it's better to work on organizational model or on tools to measure the impact in a way that to give a wider position to the social impact enterprise. It's just that, because they are the two main points that we are focused. And somehow, are you think that thing will develop in the future related to this one? So how you imagine social impact enterprise in 5 and 10 years, which will be the mainly element that will help us to identify who is working and who is moving from this kind of hybrid situation to a very, very specific social impact activities.
Okay, thank you. Now it's clear, I think. I don't know if Chiara or Paolo or Christian have a comment about it. In Italian, we say, I leave you the hot potato.
Yeah, I can just share one comment regarding data gathering and all the things related to different legal forms. I think it matters when it comes to maybe have a knowledge about the organization we're dealing with. But when it comes to design a policy, I think it doesn't matter at all. It depends on which are the scopes, which are the motivation, which are the impact you want to reach, and then you have to design a policy which is really transversal to different legal forms. Because as you see in Italy, we have 15, but I think I will say we have even more. If you go further in details, the problem is not just gathering data, it's not just collecting data from different sources. The problem is understanding which are the motivation beside the impact strategy we are designing. So before spending so much time and so much money on gathering and collecting data which are relevant when you go to monitoring and assessing a policy, when it comes to design the motivation of the strategy, you have to be keen on the impact you want to reach. And so design kind of impact strategy for the policy. That I know that is not not so easy to do, but we have different impact tools, impact strategy tools. We have different platform that can allow you even to design the strategy, understanding ex ante the KPI you want to reach, the impact you want to reach. And then you have to experiment and leave the floor open to sandboxes and other things that can be applied with the new wave of regional funds, for example. That's how we are trying to design this strategy. Then we will involve third sector benefit and what else, but the problem is just having an impact in mind.
I quickly back up what Christian just said, also because representing a European network, indeed we had to go beyond definitions, strict definitions, because indeed they are very much linked to the national definitions. So also in our case, it was putting impact at the core of the action. And for example, we insisted a lot also at organizational level for business support organizations, but also for the networks like ours, like the one I represent here, a true effort on rethinking really or going through our missions, our values, and redefining them by having a societal and environmental impact well focused. So this is that's why also in the project we focused a lot on the cultural shift, paradigm shift, because without this wider shift and change, I mean, specific actions or programs, tools might get lost after the specific action they refer to. So that's my 2 cents. These are my 2 cents.
Thank you, Chiara and Christian. I think your comments were on point. So if there are not any other questions, and in the chat I don't see any, I will say we finished and the webinar is ended. Thank you very much for your participation and for staying with us even 15 minutes more. And we will reach you with the slides of speakers. If they agree, I will contact all of you. And you will receive also notice of the next webinars of the capacity building program of SEED. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Julia. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.